Monday, October 16th, 2023. I arrived back in California and got home around 1 a.m. Friday the 13th. I came home with a cold and stayed in bed all of Friday and all of Saturday. Yesterday on Sunday, I got out of bed but just took it easy. I'm lucky that it's just a cold. When we were in Paris for 5 days before returning to California, Diem was sick. He was in bed about the last day and a half of our trip. And we're lucky that that passed quickly, as one of our hosts in the south of France actually was ill and tested herself and said she was testing positive for COVID, if that's what they're calling it still. I still don't tune into any news or social media, so I'm not really sure the state of that at this time. But anyway, that was the concern of the people when we left our host's home in the south of France, that the host was sick, and I didn't stop that from, or I didn't allow that to stop me from hugging her goodbye. So again, I'm just really thankful that when Diem was sick in Paris, it passed quickly. And then the day that we flew home, I was awake for over 24 hours. So I was not surprised to have a cold when I got home. There were lots and lots of sick people on the plane ride. So the last time I made a video from home was my last day before travel, and that was, I think, July 26th, something like that, 2023. And so I'm just giving a little view of what nature's been doing on its own without my presence here manicuring and co-creating. We got a downed flamingo. Yeah, so nature just doing as nature does without my influence. And yeah, it's great. I've got lots to do here in the garden. I had quite an experience in Paris before coming home, which I thought I might. I'd been inquiring about it in my oracle and meditation, and got some information before I arrived so that I had a little bit of an idea of what I was up against. And one of the most important lessons that I got from that was about diet, because the increase in sugar in my diet while I was traveling definitely played a role in my vulnerability to all of the energies and such that were there in Paris. Because normally here at home, the only sugar intake that I have is through my honey. I get some natural, raw, local honey. And, but while I was in France, I was consuming, jam on my morning croissants, and I would occasionally have a scoop of sorbet, this lovely little local ice cream shop, and then I would sometimes have a creme brulee or some sort of dessert, because if you've been to France, then you'll know there are boulangeries, fresh bakeries, or bakeries with fresh goodies everywhere. So there is a lot of sugar intake in the French lifestyle. And I actually don't drink that much alcohol anymore, so I wasn't drinking much wine. In the 2 months I was in the south of France, I can count on my hand how many glasses of wine I had, but I was indulging in dessert, and sweets, and I really could feel it having an effect on not only my immune system, but I could feel the effect that it was having on my overall beingness, like affecting my well-being on not just a physical body and my physical immunity, but I could feel the energetic structure, this inorganic structure within the sugar in the foods I was eating, almost like attacking my consciousness. And I could sense and feel how it dumbs and numbs us, its consumer. And so, again, it was just all a part of experience, because I am one who gains gnosis through direct experience only. Trial and error. For me, I can read literature and listen to things and everything, but I really gain my own knowledge and gnosis from my direct experience. And so there I was, enjoying some sweets and feeling what that sugar was doing to all the different parts of myself, my physical self and my emotional self, and my spiritual self. And then getting into Paris, into this great city with all these people and energies and history, and what it did was it made me very vulnerable in my dream state. And so there was one night where I was sleeping, and in my dream I became really, really angry. So angry. And in the moment that I went to touch the person that I was angry with, I suddenly realized that I was dealing with interference in my dream state, and this being that was there in my dream that I touched, it went from a person that I was very familiar with and loved And as soon as I touched them, I was shown that it was not a human at all, and it was actually a being there. And the moment I touched it, I could feel it sucking my life force. And so I immediately woke up, and then I used my tools to clear that. And on a separate occasion in Paris, and this was a night that I had a dessert after dinner, I had a dream, and in it I became really very emotional and sad. I saw my mom, and she was dying of cancer, and some of you are familiar with me already and know that my mom passed of cancer. So in this dream, there she was, and she was hooked up to all these tubes and everything, and I was crying and feeling so emotional. And again, the moment I hugged her, the dream changed. I could feel and knew that this being that I was hugging was not human, and it was not benevolent. And so and I could feel it draining my life force. So I woke up, and again I used my tools to do some clearing. And what I came out of the experience in Paris aware of was that anytime I am in fear, rage, anger, or emotional vulnerability, like deep sadness, that I am vulnerable to entities draining and stealing my life force, which is a very real thing, as we are living here in a environment that is shared by multiple different energies and life forms and entities. So the big lesson for me leaving Paris was about staying centered and grounded and neutral, because when I am in my heart space and I am completely neutral in my heart space, grounded, centered, I am invincible. I am impenetrable. I am safe, completely safe. When I am neutral, centered, grounded, and in my heart space. So then learning about some of the things happening in the outside world, such as attacks and kidnappings and things in different parts of the world, I am reminded of what I have just been taught through experience, that as long as I stay neutral and send out my prayers and my love while staying completely neutral, having no fear, not feeling the extreme emotion of sadness, but just offering my compassion and my love and staying fully neutral, not having any sides, taking sides, or getting involved in any stories, then I am completely safe, and my energy is my own sovereign energy. So that's what Paris taught me this last week. In divine right timing with some of the stuff that's going on in the world right now. You come home and see this garden, which appears almost like chaos, but really, to me, I think it's so beautiful to witness what nature does when just left to do its own thing, wild and free. There's a kitty cat in there. Well, I'm back in California, and that's my quick update on what sort of lessons and and experiences have come up for me in just the last week. It was my intention as I was gone to make some videos to share, but the place that I was staying in had a little plug-in mobile Wi-Fi, and because the signal was not strong enough, the like 1 or 2 videos I was able to share took 24 hours to load, and I decided I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be spending 24 hours monitoring an iPad once a week trying to load these videos. I'm just going to stay present with what is in front of me now, and I'll get to sharing when I get to a place that has some reliable internet. So I'm going to get back into that intention of trying to create a video to share about once a week, and yeah, just keep sharing what's current. And I mean, there's not going to be any linear form to what I'm sharing. It's just gonna be stories and experiences of my own personal experience and stories, and how they're relating to what I've learned that helps me to live in the healthiest, best way in the world that we're all navigating together at this time. So interesting, you know, the water line broke, and so the trees weren't getting watered while I was gone. Instead, one little patch of area was getting watered, but we have the most and the sweetest grapes we've ever had, and I wonder if it's because they didn't get enough water to get really big. You can see we have some downed trees, peaches all over the ground for me to pick up. Well, this is the garden gone wild, unattended for almost 3 months. Thank you for tuning in to listen to my brief sharing during my homecoming, and I will share some more with you again very soon. Ciao for now.